Hey guys, so it's been a minute. Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Okay, I want to talk about what's going on out there on the water, and that is like all this unsafe activity that goes along with spots. Okay, I am seeing some absolutely crazy things on social media. And I don't even watch social media, to be honest with you guys. I get the DMs from people showing me this stuff that's going on. People running circles around other people doing all sorts of crazy stuff to other boats. It's just insane. We had an incident down here in the Keys during lobster season where there was a boat and it was on a lobster, they were lobstering, and a second boat approached, and the guy must have had, one of those, it's like the spot ownership thing, we call it, and there was some behavior that went on, and then something happened where the boat that arrived second shut off the guy's air, and which is, not a good thing. You can Google and find out what happens when that air gets shut off like that. So I'm not going to get into it, but it was just outrageous. Okay. So for myself, this summer, I've had several incidents where guys are running are running circles around my boat, and I also have had several charter boat captains just run right up on me to where it's too close and to hit the number on the GPS. But what's different now for myself is that I've had to do a ton of work mentally to get to the point where I'm at to where I can stay focused and put together full tables of fish. Okay, and I have Melinda Van Fleet to thank for that. Okay, I don't let it concern me. I stay focused. Social media is the root cause of everything that's going on out there. Comparison. You're coming down here to go lobstering. They see that their neighbor catches a whole bunch of lobsters. They need to catch a whole bunch of lobsters. Neighbors has a bunch of spots. They don't have a bunch of spots, which leads the other guy into a rage situation. And you add a 100-degree temperature out there with no wind, or you add a situation where you have a ripping current. The divers are new. They don't understand about current, and that the Gulf Stream's in on the reef because they didn't do their homework of what the current's going to do. And then the divers end up in a bad situation because there's all these boats around running from point A to point B without paying attention. And I know that because I've seen it this past week. I've never seen that type of behavior during lobster season ever. Ever. That's when I know that things have changed out there. So it is unsafe when it comes to like just running circles on people. It makes, especially if somebody's just out there having a good time, just know that. I don't even know where to even begin, because I just want you guys to know, especially all you guys that have been fishing down here for several years, okay? And to the captains out there, to the guys that are down here every weekend doing their thing, okay? Just know that you're not alone. That you're not alone out there, okay? And don't let it wreck your day. That's it. There's a lot of work that you can do to get to that point. I know, because I was there myself, okay? Because once it'll wreck you mentally. So the comparison of this, when you have somebody with the social media, what I'm seeing, it's like the guy posts all the pictures, okay? And then that drives the other guy to do this. And then and then you got all that other stuff going on. Then you've got all the what I call, like, you can go out and buy now the fishing spots have become an economy out there, okay? It's become an economy, and you got 1,000 different spots out there that are for sale that you can buy, but it doesn't do you any good, because once you fish those, it's all burned out, and then what are you going to do? You bought a shortcut, and chances are those numbers have been sold to 10 other people. So that's the don't fall for that. Okay, there's so many. It's so funny. It's just very, very intriguing, what's happening out there. Now, also too, it's the same thing. It's become it's YouTube. Love YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, but it can brainwash you as well. Okay, you can brainwash you as well. Is that thinking that it's easy? Okay, thinking that it's easy, and it's not. Okay, it's not. It's not like we're going out there and dropping chicken rigs down and catching 15 fish. You're dealing with all this different currents and when they happen and when they don't happen, and when spots are going to be good, when spots are going to be bad. There's all this work that goes into it, and yeah, you can go out. And I see guys go out and do it all the time. They'll run up and set up next to somebody, and then there's an argument, and then they go back and forth, and then it just wrecks. It's like, why, why waste your energy? Why waste your energy? Because you just wrecked your day. You're in the beautiful Florida Keys. You're out in South Florida on the water. I mean, it's funny. As I had a guy a few weeks ago, I was fishing. And, I was hanging out. We were fishing, catching some fish, and I had two separate boats come up, and they circled me for like a good solid each 15 minutes. And then I just started. Then in the past, I would have got really pissed. I mean, honestly, doing this podcast this year versus maybe 2 years ago, and it's taken a ton of work to get here. I would have got angry. But what happened, my client looked at me and he said to me, Ryan, that guy just spent all that time circling you, and it just wasted all that gas money. And I said to him, yeah, and he just wrecked his visitors, whoever he has on his boat's time. And yeah, so instead of going fishing, and there's just so good, there's so much out there to go. It's like, oh my God, I look at it like, so that's it. You're wasting, that person's just wasting his time and stuff, but it's not really his fault either, So that's another thing, is that's the way people, they don't know any other way. They don't know any other way. So they see stuff on YouTube, and they don't see all the other stuff behind the scenes. They become just brainwashed out there about on certain things. And the only reason why I know is because I have people that come fishing with me that are brainwashed. And then I have to explain, and then when they come on the boat, they're like, oh, now I know. Okay, meaning that they see some techniques and things, and then they see the current, and then I have to explain to them the difference between different fisheries, and they're like, oh my God, I went fishing in the Gulf and on the spot, and it wasn't like this. And it's like, now I know why. Because you have current here and they don't on some days. So it's not that person's fault, because they don't know anything else as far as the spot mugging goes. Or that spot mugging, I don't even know what to even call it anymore, because it's not really that. Years ago, I did a podcast called The Great GPS Pirate. Some of you guys may remember that one. That was a funny one. I went off on major tangents and rambles and this stuff, but yeah, those days are behind me now. I am so focused, laser focused on just working on myself every day, putting clients on fish when it's challenging, and now more than ever it's challenging because of all the different, all the bullshit that's going on out there. But that's that's how it works. So it's just going to keep getting worse. And so just to know that you guys are not alone out there when it comes to that stuff. And that's all I got to say. It's just part of the deal. So years ago, I built a community out there because I started seeing it, and I was like slowly building it, and I was like, now I'm like to the point where I am really 1,000% invested into teaching guys the why, the where, and the how. Okay, so they can have that for themselves, so they can teach their kids the how, the why, and the where. instead of teaching the kids how to go mug spots and how to take another man's spot, because that's the type of stuff that I really am training the guys on to do, and they've been super successful. And then I started seeing the results, and I'm like, I need to do more, and now I'm doing more because I'm really just 1,000% invested into it, because they feel what I see out there is absolutely crazy, and social media is just blinding people and driving them to do this. And then you get the guy that videotapes it and posts it, and that just fuels the fire even more. Who's to blame there? The guy videoing it and posting it? Yeah, kinda, for the views. Yeah, you contributed to it. If I posted all the stuff that I seen out on the water, it would just be disgusting. Disgusting. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that. If it makes sense for safety, yeah. But posting fights, posting guys running circles around other guys, yeah, it's not those aren't good things to do as a human being. And how did we get here? Social media. That's it. The views. Spots the skills. Okay? Spots the skills. Learn. Get involved with my community. And just know that when you're out there and things happen, you're not alone. Take a breath. Do your things. Don't lose your shit. Because otherwise, you just never know what could happen out there nowadays. So that's all I got, guys. If you want to really get involved and learn how to start fishing with skill, start learning some of the techniques that I'm teaching the other anglers, you can get involved with the Good Karma Sport Fishing Angler's Edge. Love that group, man. Love that group. And we're doing some good stuff in there. Until next time, guys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.